Africa is selling that wealth is only for a select few. For you to make money, you must either be a politician or you must do it fraudulently. The truth is, on the ladder of resources, money is the least item you need. A lot of people don't build businesses with physical cash. There are some things that you can build money. For example, building wealth is a long game. But most people want 5 steps for me to move from broke to successful. There's nothing like that. There are 3 pillars of influence in Africa: religion, politicians, businesses. For you to have a type of mindset, you need to get rid of the current mindset that you have.
What are some of the mindsets that are keeping people broke?
Like number 1, I said, no society was built on prayer. No business was built solely on prayer.
Welcome to Connected Minds podcast. Today's conversation is going to shift the way you think about money, success, and mindset. As always, this is what Connected Minds is about. I'm having a conversation with a personal finance coach, personal development coach, a Pan-African strategist. He has built a brand. As a matter of fact, I have figured out that he's the fastest growing thought leader in the whole business and mindset game. I'm speaking to NTO, Tunde Oni, who is from Nigeria, and he's come all the way to our studio from Rwanda to have this conversation. If you're thinking about money in a way that will shift your 2026 onwards, this is the conversation you should listen to. My name is Derek Abaite, so stay connected right here. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Pleasure to be here, Derek.
You're welcome to Ghana.
Thank you.
It's been a shift. It's been a lot of work, but I appreciate you, for being who you are and for showing up for us.
Thank you.
All right. So for my audience, what do you do for the people?
Okay. So I usually describe myself in 3 ways, but I'm going to put all 3 in one.
Awesome.
So firstly, I would say I'm a business development and growth expert. That's the first side of what I do. Secondly, I'm an entrepreneur. I founded and co-founded a couple of businesses. And lastly, which is my passion, I'm a Pan-African development thought leader, which is where a lot of people might have come across my content from. So that's what I do.
We are going to have about an hour conversation.
Okay.
I have the people's ears right now. We've got the eyeballs. Why should they sit through this conversation for an hour?
Okay. First of all, my passion is Africa. Right. And my passion is to develop the minds of Africa, right? Because we have so many people with regards to population. But in terms of inventing, we don't have as many people, right? I did a study recently about entrepreneurs, the ones who have succeeded, the ones who have made money, the ones who have kept money, the ones who have lost it. The ones who have made money, the ones who have kept money, the ones who have grown it. Also, I did a study about people who have become wealthy, right? I'm talking of personal finance, how they were able to build wealth and sustain it over generations. And I now looked at Africa, and I was able to now see this is where the disconnect has been. So all those years and months and days of study and research has given me a lot of knowledge, right, to be able to give to Africans so that we can apply it into our lives and break free from the mediocrity that has plagued Africa for a lot of years. That's why I think everybody should listen to this.
Where do we start from as Black Africans?
Anyway, the problem is multifaceted, whether it's personal finance, whether it's business growth, whether it's mindset re-engineering. Our problem in Africa is multifaceted.
So, if you had to qualify yourself, what would you say? If you had to qualify yourself for us to sit through this, for the young person or the older person that is listening to you, to really qualify yourself as an individual, what have you, quote unquote, done personally in terms of your finance to say that people should really pay attention?
Okay.
Mindset-wise.
Okay, so one thing I had to understand, first of all, is going through this journey of personal finance. I had to, first of all, unlearn a lot of things.
Right.
I had to now learn and then relearn, right? I've made a lot of decisions with my finances that have ended up in loss. And I've read a lot of finance books. I've done a lot of courses to try and understand that why is it that money keeps flowing into my hands, I keep investing it, or I keep putting it in some things and I keep losing it. And I had to understand the wealthy people. How did they do it? And I now realized that most of our focus in Africa has been on what to do. But the people who have become wealthy, they were not focused on the what, they were focused on the who. You become the kind of person that wealth is attracted to. You don't try to do things to build wealth. So you have to become a particular kind of person before you become wealthy. Money is a mindset, not a thing to do.
If you don't already have the money, then how do you become mentally?
You have to change what goes into your mind.
What's the process?
The process?
Yes.
It's learning. Anyone who stops learning, the moment you stop learning, you begin to die.
Well, I guess the biggest question is,
Yeah.
What are we learning? What are we supposed to be learning?
In fact, first of all, is what have we been learning in the past?
Uh-huh.
The traditional educational system in Africa is not designed to keep people wealthy. What we're educated on is get a job, go to school, get a job, make money. If you can invest in the stock market or something, then put money in pension and retire. If you check the countries who have built the most amount of wealthy people, you see China, you see America, you see Singapore. The educational system, both traditional and non-traditional system, is designed differently. It's designed to teach people to be wealthy. We in Africa were designed to teach people to be mediocre. So there has to be a shift in our educational system, in how we learn, in how we understand. I was having a conversation earlier, and I was telling people, I said, the traditional education system was built around teaching people to retain, or it grades people the highest based on who can remember what was taught, not based on who can understand what was taught, right? So most people, if you head in Africa, a lot of people go to an exam and they just cram, which means they just look into the book, pick everything, and then just divulge it. And you get an A. You can even get a first class doing that, or a 2-1 doing that, right? But that doesn't determine success in life. Because the most successful people, one thing I did a study about a lot of successful people, is their mindset is very similar. Their mindset is very similar. They understand how not to dwell on failure. That failure is a part of life. Their distance between failure and trying again is shorter than an unsuccessful person. A successful person can fail today and in 1 month is trying again. An unsuccessful person can fail today and before he tries again, it can take 10 years. So there's a mental flexibility that successful people understand. That's not taught in school.
NTO, did you come from a poor background?
Did I come from a poor background?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Has that put you at an advantage?
Yes, it has.
How?
And I wouldn't lie, right? The truth about it is that because of the kind of background I came from, I was exposed to life and the global world early. So right from when I was young, I was privileged to, travel across the globe to see societies working, right? To see wealth, to see how businesses have shaped society, to see working environments. And that had influenced me, right? To be able to know that this is something I can also attain, right? This is something that is free for everybody to attain. So that influenced me to be able to say that, look, wealth can be made by me, right? It's not just for 2% of the world or 2% of the elite of the world to make. So I believe that my background, and it also gave me access to some relationships, right? The relationships that when you're in some certain rooms, a lot of wealthy people, right? And this I grew up wealthy, but I didn't grow up poor, right? One thing a lot of wealthy people do, right, for their children is they put them in some schools, and those schools are not really about the education. It's about the networks of people they meet in those schools.
Okay. So I'm a parent.
Yeah.
And I'm broke all the time. As a matter of fact, I struggle to take care of my children properly. What should I do?
As a parent?
Yes. Because what you are telling me is that when you come from quote-unquote rich background, you're already ahead. of the curve.
Yeah.
Now, what if I'm broke? I'm a broke parent.
Mm-hmm.
What if I'm a young guy that is coming from a really poor background?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to do to catch up to somebody like yourself?
Somebody like myself.
Well, I guess
I haven't gotten where I need to be.
Well, I guess the difference is that you
Mm-hmm.
clearly said you did not come from a poor background.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between you and a young man that's been riding Okada since he was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
But how does he catch up to the mindset you have and to the way you've seen the world?
So the truth is that I looked at a couple of people who came from poor backgrounds, right? And they eventually became wealthy, right? One of the things that I saw about people who came from poor backgrounds is that they believed they could live where they are to where they wanted to be, right? Because the truth about it is that a lot of people that come from poor backgrounds don't believe wealth is for their kind. Poverty is a mental cage. The people that truly break free from there are the people that believe that it's possible for me to live here to here. So most people think that, okay, I'm broke, for example. I just need to make more money. But I keep saying it that money is attracted to a type of person. And for you to be a type of person, you need to have a type of mindset. And for you to have a type of mindset, you need to get rid of the current mindset that you have.
What are some of the mindsets that are keeping people broke?
Like number one, I said, money is not for me.
Okay.
Number two, it's difficult to make money. Number three, the government is the cause of my problems. Entitlement mentality. Number four, my family. One person in my family has made money. They are meant to take care of the rest of us. Number five, I don't know anybody. All those things are what you call closed mindsets. So the closed mindset always ends with, I don't. The open mindset always ends with, how can I? So that opens your mind to possibilities.
Right.
Even somebody that wants to start a business, right? And the first thing you say is, I don't have money to start. That's the mindset of somebody that might never be successful in life.
What if that's the truth?
The truth is, you might not have physical cash, but a lot of people don't build businesses with physical cash. On the ladder of resources, money is the least item you need.
Talk to me.
There are some things that you can build money. For example, relationships can get you access to building a business. Wisdom. If you have wisdom, right, you can realize that you can build something without using money in the initial stages. Of course, you need money to scale businesses. But to start, all you need is whatever you need is already around you. You just need wisdom to be able to see it. But once you focus on money and you say, I don't have money, your eye, just for example, if I'm focusing on one thing, I don't have peripheral vision on all the other things around me. But if you say, I want to start a business, what do I have around me that I can use to start? It begins to unlock your mind to look at other things around you. I have this friend that knows this person. Instead of using money, I might as well go and serve somewhere and get visibility and get equity or get leverage the relationship and can help you build money. So most people always think, the problem I see is that when you tell people mindset looks too difficult and it's a long game.
Yes.
But building wealth is a long game. I didn't say getting money. Building wealth is a long game. But most people want 5 steps for me to move from broke to successful. There's nothing like that. It's a mindset. The moment you start thinking differently about wealth and about money and stop hating people that have money, because what you hate, you can never attract. And that's the problem I see with a lot of people that might be in poverty. And
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible place to be, right? And I don't wish it upon anybody. But the truth is that there are some people that are there. And there's a mindset in Africa that has taught us to hate people. Hate people that are poor. That they must have done it in a fraudulent manner. That they must have done it because they knew somebody. That they must have done it because they did something illegal. And once you think that way, what you despise, you can't attract. That's the difference between us and the successful societies. We were having a conversation earlier. And I said, you look at the US. There are movies about the men who built America. John D. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford. There are movies about Mark Zuckerberg, right? But because they celebrate their entrepreneurs, America is a place where anybody can be wealthy. That's the dream they've sold. Which means you can come into America without anything and become something.
What is Africa selling?
Africa is selling that wealth is only for a select few. And for you to make money, you must either be a politician or you must do it fraudulently. And even the people that have wealth, because the mindset is that you must either be a politician or know a politician or be fraudulent. So the people that have now made money successfully in a good way, people subconsciously think that they knew someone in politics or they did it fraudulently. And they think that, I cannot be fraudulent, I cannot be a politician, therefore I can never be rich. But that's the wrong mindset, which is why I said, we first of all need to throw away the garbage mindsets that we've had in the past and re-indoctrinate ourselves in a new way of thinking. It's as simple as that. It's a mindset thing. And I've seen it. I've had a couple of friends. I've seen a lot of people that have been poor before and have attained wealth. And I asked them, what changed? They say, I changed. My patterns changed. My mindset changed. My relationships changed. If you are sitting on a table with 4 people, don't be confused. You are the 5th poor person. If you are sitting on a table with 4 wealthy people, don't be confused. You are the 5th wealthy person, because eventually what's in the mindset of the circle will be transferred into you. So sometimes your mind becomes wealthy first before your pocket becomes wealthy.
That 17-year-old watching this video is thinking to themselves, you've really got to break it down to the core. Because, look, when people are going through real struggles, the emotions that is going up and down, this message does not get in there. Break it down. It doesn't. Because can you imagine talking about mindset as, okay, I've got to change first. This is what you have to do. And when you do that, you attract money. It looks alchemical. It looks some sort of esotericism. It just is too, it just doesn't stay.
So here's the thing. Africa.
What are the daily habits, the daily things that people have to do?
To become wealthy.
To become wealthy. To get that wealth mindset.
Okay. The first, we've already said it, right? The first thing you need to do to become someone who wealth is attracted to, right? Or who becomes wealthy, first of all, is you need to change your pattern of thinking. And that sounds abstract, but it's not as abstract as it sounds, right? Because, for example, let me even draw a picture of who influences the mindsets in Africa.
Awesome.
There are 3 pillars of influence in Africa. Number 1, religion. Number 2, politicians. Number 3, businesses. If you listen to someone in religion say, I released a video about statistics that says, I think about 80-something% of Africans say that they get their ideas about life, about wealth, and decisions to make from religious leaders. So the person that shapes their day-to-day activities is religious leaders. Now, the danger with that is that if whatsoever religious leader you listen to doesn't have the right idea about wealth, the people that listen to them automatically do not become wealthy. Most of the people that you say that are poor, that is struggling, whatever, 95% of Africa is religious. So even the poor person goes to church, or goes to the mosque, or goes to in Nigeria, we'll say Babalawo, if you're a traditional worshipper, right? There's all some sort of religion. Do you understand? So it depends on who is currently feeding your mind. So that's even the first place to start. Where do you get your daily mindsets engineering from? If it's your parents that are poor and also feeding you about poverty practices, it could be a religious leader, right? It could be a circle. You have to audit your circle. That's the first thing. You have to first audit your circle. Because the truth about it is that they always say that the rich, that if you distributed the wealth, a lot of people criticize the richest man in the world and say, if he gives $1 million to everybody on the world in the world, there will be end of hunger, or there will be world peace or whatever. The truth is that if you redistribute the wealth globally and give $1 million to everybody, in 1 year, the money will still find itself with the billionaires.
That proves
it's
mindset.
That is mindset. That proves that is mindset. So no matter how anybody says, I don't want to listen to all these mindsets, whatever, it's also because of the mindset of that person. Because somebody has told them that all these people are just talkers, or God, to make money, we just go and do, like in Nigeria, they will say, we'll just go and do yahoo. We'll just go and do fraud. I want to go into politics. I want to be a musician. Because Nigeria, the media shows the people that display wealth, how will I put it? In a way that it makes people believe that this is the only access. For example, is the Yahoo guys, is the entertainment guys, is the politicians that display wealth in a certain way. So most people think that if I don't enter into any of these three spaces,
it will be difficult.
It will be difficult for me. That's why I said that we've already been indoctrinated in a certain way.
Let me stop you here for a minute. We are on a journey of changing the minds and the lives of people. So if you haven't subscribed and become part of the family, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you. Now let's carry on with the conversation. I have a survey here.
Yeah.
Ghanaian youth between the age of 18 to 35, 61% of them said that they prefer entrepreneurship. The problem is that they don't know how to start and they don't have the capital. What do you really think is the path for them to really be able to break free from their financial troubles?
All right. So you said 61% of
61%, yes, between the age of 18 to 35. And they said they want entrepreneurship, but they don't have the capital, they don't have the government support, they don't have the means to be able to even start their businesses.
Yeah. The truth about it is that, yes, I agree that where there's government infrastructure and the basic things that society needs are provided, it gives the room for entrepreneurship to thrive.
Yeah.
However, entrepreneurship can also thrive. In fact, entrepreneurship majorly thrives where there's challenges and problems. A lot of the entrepreneurs that have come out today is because they saw a problem that they could fix. Do you understand? So yes, I understand that the government needs to provide some certain things, but that's not the only way they can go into entrepreneurship. Right? I truly believe that for you to be wealthy, right, entrepreneurship is one of those avenues you can take. Investing is also an avenue you can take. I always tell people, I say there are 5, when I did the research about people who have built wealth, I realized that there are 5 steps that people have built wealth. Right?
Okay.
Number 1 is find a problem. Find a solution to that problem, whether a product or a service that people are willing to pay for to alleviate that problem.
Okay.
And charge money for it. That's the lowest place to start on the ladder of wealth. And why I said that is I said find a problem first. There's a difference between being an entrepreneur and just a hustler or a businessman.
Okay, what's the difference?
The difference is the mindset. The businessman or the hustler is looking for what is paying people money so they can make money to survive. So that business is for survival, which is if everybody is selling wigs today, I don't know what solution is providing, but is making money, I enter into it. If everybody is doing YouTube or is a content creator, I hear it pays, they enter into it. If everybody is selling cups or clothes or fashion items, I enter into it. That is a businessman, and that person might not necessarily build wealth. Now, the entrepreneur is looking for a problem that people have. and wants to solve it. And obviously, you're going to charge people for it. When you solve problems for people, right, your tendency to grow your wealth increases because you care about people and you're solving problems for them. That's the difference between an entrepreneur. That's why I said, look for a problem, solve it, and charge people for it. Whether it's a product, whether it's a service, people will always pay for convenience. People will pay for access. People will pay for you to for you to help them look good, which is, fashion items. People will pay for services that can help them ease their stress. There are so many areas of people's lives that you can look for what the problem is and help them. People can pay you to even help them build wealth. People pay you to give them knowledge that they don't have. That's why teachers and coaches make money. People pay you to heal them. Right? So an entrepreneur is basically just helping people achieve the thing that they could not achieve themselves and helps them solve some sort of issue they have. That's the first.
Great. Number two.
Number two is distribution. You might not have a product, you might not have a service, but you have a system that helps people distribute those products, which means you are the one helping people, devising a medium for people to sell that problem or sell that solution, whether it's a product or it's a, for example, like a supermarket.
Right.
The supermarkets don't own the water, they don't own the clothes. They just know that people need water, they know that people need food, they know that people need so and so. So they have a shop, they import those things and they sell, right? That's the second type of way of building wealth, right? The third, and the truth about it is that the higher you go on the rung, the more capital
you need.
So it's not something that just like, I want to just start this.
Exactly. So our starting point would be step number one.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So number three,
and let me even use, let's say, something like Facebook.
Okay.
It's a typical example. When Facebook started, he just wanted to get a platform where people could connect to each other. So you could be in your school. It was a school system, right? So you could be in maybe your own class. You know what another person is doing in that class. It was a simple problem so that to make people more connected. It was even a problem that most people did not even know that they had. So sometimes you can solve a problem that most people don't even know that they had. Some you can solve a problem that, yes, people know that they have this. But you can also solve a problem that people don't know that they have. Do you understand? So Facebook started that way. Right? Then it moved from school, right, to a wider audience, which is now anybody can come on the platform. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So Facebook became like some sort of distributor for connection. Do you understand? The third way is value chain. Right? Which is, for example, you are controlling the whole value chain from the producer to the distributor, the manufacturer, all the way to the consumer. Do you understand? So when you see companies that have, I'm in oil and gas, for example. Let's see companies that have oil and gas fields. They also have oil and gas vessels that transport it. They also have a refinery. They also now have a station, which means across the whole value chain, they are present and they extract value across. You can apply in the fashion business too. Instead of you just being a store, maybe a boutique, you now own the place where the boutique, the clothes are manufactured, right? You also own the retail outlets where the clothes are being sold.
Right.
Do you understand? So like a Zara, for example, they own the whole value chain, right?
Yeah.
So you see that more capital is now required, which means you're now extracting value across all the different aspects of value chain. And unfortunately, majority of Africans are usually in 1 and 2. Step 1, step 2, just there. Do you understand? So like Facebook, for example, now, the higher they went, they now eventually became a place where they controlled the whole value chain, right? So for example, they have server rooms where before Facebook will probably be maybe depending on other servers to be able to store their data, energy suppliers, and all those kind of things. They started owning across the whole value chain. And they started now acquiring other businesses that plug into that.
Yep.
Right? Number 4 is a platform or an ecosystem. Now, don't just own the value chain. You now become the playing field for other people to transact. Which means it's not just you transacting, you've now given people a place to come and transact.
Okay.
Facebook is a place where businesses come and transact, where people come and do business, and they make money off everyone. People advertise on Facebook, just like Amazon.
Yeah.
So it's a platform or it's an ecosystem. It's the same thing that Steve Jobs did with the App Store. So everybody has an app. The developers will build apps, they will put it on the App Store, and Apple takes a commission. The same thing with Apple Music, what Spotify is doing. So you see the companies I'm mentioning now, if you think about the value of those companies, you can see how much they are worth. If you look at Flutterwave in Africa, what does it do? It's a platform where it plugs into all your transactions, which means no matter where you are in the world, if you want to be a payment processor, they charge a commission for you to be able to collect your money.
Yep.
That's a platform. You all know that Flutterwave has already become a unicorn. Because once you create a place for other people to thrive, you thrive the most. That's how the people outside the country or outside the continent think. It's not that it's just me. Do you understand? Dangote, when he started with cement, he grew it up to cement and then started going into FMCG. Now, I don't even know which part of the FMCG in Africa that Dangote is not within. He controlled the whole value chain of cement. He was first importing cement into the country, which is there was a problem that he helped people to solve. Okay, people needed cement to construct because Nigeria was growing in terms of the infrastructure. Started importing it. Then started manufacturing it. So you will not go to supermarket and buy Dangote cement. Right? He owns the value chain from manufacturing to distribution to transport. You see Dangote trucks on the road to the end user. He owns everything. Do you understand? Then he started going into cement, did the same thing. Started going into flour, did the same thing. I think he went into some other food stuff, so I don't know if the business succeeded. I think spaghetti. He once entered into noodles as well, right? If you notice, they keep moving up. They keep moving up. The last stage, which is where very few billionaires are, is an investor. Now, at that stage, you've already built your platform or whatever, you've made money, right? You now begin to invest in other businesses. You begin to build more businesses because most people think that when you hear investment, you just think stock market, real estate. A business is an investment. Okay. The wealthiest man in the world owns up to like 5 businesses. Elon Musk. He owns Twitter. He owns SpaceX. He owns Tesla. He owns the Boring Company. He owns, there's one other company that Neuralink that has to do with the mind and putting chips inside the brain and stuff. Multiple businesses. That guy is an investor. And he probably also owns his own private investment company. Warren Buffett is an investor. This is why he's one of the wealthiest men. Warren Buffett makes approximately about $776 million or so a year from Coca-Cola dividends. That's higher than the Coca-Cola CEO earns. So the Coca-Cola CEO earns a particular amount per year. Warren Buffett earns more because he's invested in the company. Mention any billionaire today, you will see that they have multiple businesses. But for you to get to that level, Dangote has multiple businesses. Tony Elumelu in Africa has multiple businesses. Femi Otedola, who just released his book, has multiple businesses. He was in oil and gas. He left oil and gas, went into power. He's in banking now. Do you understand? But to get to that stage, it's a process. It's a process. Tony Elumelu took a while. Femi Otedola took a while. Aliko Dangote took a while. Bill Gates took a while. Right? To build and sustain wealth, it takes a while. So, and the problem I've seen is social media has made you think like the time to build wealth. Even this Davido that we celebrate, Davido was doing this music thing since from when he was in university. Before anybody knew him, yes, he came from a wealthy place, but he was a guy also has work ethic. There are many people that have come from a wealthy place and have zero work ethic or zero talent. It took him a while to get to this Davido that we celebrate. That guy probably has like how many albums? So even what you see and you see all the wealth, he's buying this, he's buying that, he's buying this. I mean, I might not be in support and lavish display of wealth, but what I'm saying is that the principle is that he has built it over time. Now I see him investing in some companies. I even saw that I think this major company that is in Africa now, the mobility company, Spiro, he's an investor in the company. He posted it on his page one time, right? So him is now also saying that this music has made me money. Let me now begin to invest in other businesses. It's a mindset.
Social media is telling us a lie.
Social media has sold a lie. So delayed gratification is not even a thing in our vocabulary in Africa. Because we think, and that's why MMM will forever collect people's money. I don't know what it's called in Ghana, but MMM is a money market, money making market or something like that. It's like a scheme where they tell you, put in this money, you get in this money out. Put in this money, you get this money out. And people always, when the thing eventually collapses, a lot of people lose money because what it is selling. That's the reason why the place where betting companies will make the most money is Africa.
Right.
What betting is selling is greed, which is put money inside, bring it out. It's selling delayed gratification.
Instant
gratification. It's selling instant gratification, right? So when you've grown up in that kind of culture, and you say, look at my brother, two of us before, we were broke. And I met him 2 years after. He said, I put my hand into this. Maybe some sort of, like in Africa, we'll call it jazz or some sort of ritual. And you have to go and do some fetish stuff. And they made money. So you now think that, if I do this too, I will make money. Or I did something fraudulent. Or let's say I put money inside a betting company and I made money. It shortens the time. Social media has sold us a lie.
Wow. When you look at Africa today, what is the biggest lie that the youth have been told about success?
The biggest lie that I believe the youth have been told is just pray, money will come. That's the biggest lie. Just pray, money. It's a very, very sensitive topic, right? Because of how much religion is part of our culture. Just pray and money will come. So we delegate our work to God. That's what has made a lot of us lazy. We don't work for money. We pray for money. No society was built on prayer. No business was built solely on prayer. I'm a person of faith and I believe in prayer, but I've gotten wise enough to know that prayer alone cannot do the job. Because even people that are not of faith, countries that are not of our faith, have been built. Imagine if those countries now also had our faith. Because our faith is meant to be an advantage, not an anchor. But the teaching that has gone across in a couple of places, I'm not saying everywhere, right? Because there are some religious institutions that are doing well, right? But unfortunately, the majority of teachings that have gone across Africa is that just pray. That's why our crusades are full, but business conferences and wealth conferences are empty. As long as Africa has more attendance in religious conferences than they do in conferences that help you build wealth or change your mind, Africa is always going to be poor. Now, am I saying that going for prayer conferences and going to church and all these kind of things are bad? No. Those things are to edify you spiritually. But wealth is not made in the spiritual. We are here on earth. You have to do some things. You can access wisdom from the spiritual, but you still have to do some things. And even studying the Bible myself, I realized that everyone that was wealthy did something in the Bible. So where have we gotten this teaching from? And unfortunately, some of these teachings only make the people teaching them wealthy, not the people listening to them. So how? That's the biggest lie that I see.
How do you reverse that?
How do you reverse that? It's a generational thing. It can't be done. It can't be fully done even in our generation, because it's an indoctrination that has happened. You and I were talking earlier, and I said, when the children of Israel were freed from Egypt, they left Egypt physically, not mentally. Which is why anything that happened, any small challenge they faced, they said, Moses, you should have left us in Egypt where we had food and this. They couldn't even believe for food. They couldn't even have faith for anything. They had not gone. That's why God was like, you know what? Let all of them of this generation die. Let us raise a new generation that has not known slavery. Right? Because it's easier to indoctrinate someone afresh than to remove someone's mindset and put a new mindset inside what you've known your whole life. It's difficult. So it's not something that is not it has to be a plan. Every country that you see that is successful, they've had 40-year, 50-year plan. So we might start something in our generation, but we have to hand it over to the next generation. You understand? So that is what I will say for Africa. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We are generations far away from where we need to go. Maybe 2 or 3 generations of consistent indoctrination. We might be able to undo what has been done to us. Because how old are African countries? Maybe 60, 65? I don't know if any country is up to 70. I mean, in terms of from living colonization, right? So, and colonization is slavery, right? So the people that, we need a new generation of people that were not slaves or have nothing to do with slavery and believe that they can do it. And a generation is typically 40 years, give or take. So probably our generation, our children's generation, and the generation after, the work will almost be complete.
Let me stop you here for a minute. We are on a journey of changing the minds and the lives of people. So if you haven't subscribed and become part of the family, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you. Now let's carry on with the conversation. The young people almost think that they can't make it in Africa. They have to travel abroad. What's your view on that?
Still the same thing we're talking about. Someone has sold them that dream, that white is better than black. The media has sold us the dream that white is better than black. Because the media majorly control. I said there are 7 mountains of influence, right? There's politics, there's religion, there's business, there's entertainment and arts, there's sports. I think there's entertainment, then there's fashion and arts, there's sports, and there's education. The major weapons of indoctrination is media, arts and craft, media, entertainment. Those are the mountains. Now, those mountains or those industries have been used to sell us a dream that if you need to get better, white is the place to. And by white, I mean foreign. When our parents were younger, all they heard was, go to school, just go abroad and things will be better. So the mindset is at all costs to succeed, the only path is abroad, is what has been sold. So we've been sold a thinking pattern that the only path to success is abroad. Which is why a lot of people think that no matter what it takes, once I get my feet offshore, is success.
Does it happen? Do they see it?
The truth is that in everything, there are some things that succeed, there are some things that don't. Now, if the only things you hear about are the people that succeed, you are also just going to think that success at all costs. But it's not the truth. There are a lot of people who have left the shores of Africa and are suffering abroad. But a lot of them, shame might not really allow them to tell people that we're suffering here. And that's also the African pride speaking. That, hey, I'm any foreign currency. You are not. We are living like a pauper out there. That's the narrative that has been sold to a lot of our youth. So, now here's the caveat. because I personally am a man of faith, I believe everybody's path is different. There are some people whom I have had to go abroad to succeed. And there are some who would have to stay here to succeed. It's where God leads you. But don't go because other people are going. Because even in the Bible, God told Abraham, leave where you are to a land I will show you. God told Isaac, do not leave where you are. Because Isaac wanted to leave and he said, nope, stay in the land. And he succeeded in that land. Jacob had to go to Egypt to go and get food for his family. 3 different generations, 3 different paths. Now, the reason why Isaac wanted to leave to Egypt is because he saw his father leaving to Egypt. But God told him, your father left, but you stay. Do you understand? So Africa, succeeding in Africa might not be for everyone. Succeeding abroad might not be for everyone. I will not say go abroad or stay in Africa. What I will say is there are opportunities in Africa.
If people don't have the exposure to see those opportunities, then what do?
That's why we that have the exposure bring that exposure to Africans. Because for you that can't expose yourselves, there are people that have been exposed that bring that exposure back. A lot of the guys that build some of these startups that are unicorns today have gone outside the country, have learned how things have been done there, have brought that knowledge back, and have empowered people in this country, in this continent that have not even left the continent before. So it's moving brains, African brains from abroad that have become exposed and bringing them home. Not everybody can go abroad.
So you agree that most of the people who traveled abroad that came back to many West African countries have become successful more than the people that stayed in the country?
More than people that stayed abroad?
No, more than people that have stayed in their countries and did not travel abroad. Would you agree that most of the people that have become very successful on many African lands have traveled abroad?
I can't say most. I would say some people have gone abroad and come back and succeeded. Some people have also started in Africa and have also succeeded. Because we have to look at the statistics. But the truth about it is that going abroad and coming back, right, there is a higher tendency to succeed, right? Because you have more exposure. And more exposure comes with more enlightenment. And more enlightenment helps you to see more opportunities and a different way of doing things. This is why I always advise people, yes, even if you don't have money to travel outside the country, you can travel interstate. There's always a different way people are doing the things that you know, right? I always advise Africans, travel outside. If you can travel, don't always just go to London, to US. Travel within Africa. But yet again, the media has sold to us Africans that the best places to travel to for vacation. Look at it now. I was speaking to someone the other day and I said, every 2 or 3 out of every Netflix movie you see is a movie about Paris, a movie about Milan, a movie about US, and maybe a vacation there. The countries are putting money into making movies that make people want to come. So when you hear the City of Love, what do you think? Paris. Who sold that narrative? Who told you that Paris is the City of Love? Who said it? They said it, and we believed it. If you want to go and eat spaghetti, if you want to go and see structures and everything, go to Italy, go to Rome, go to all those places. If you want to make money, anyone can become somebody. It's America, the land of the free. They sold it. What have we sold in our movies? Juju, which is jazz and fetish stuff. Poverty. One woman marrying a rich man. Corruption in government. Do we think that all those things that I mentioned are not prevalent in Western countries? They are there. I have been to Paris. I have been to Dubai. I have been to the US. Every one of those countries have slums. Every one of them have places that you will not want to go to. Every one of them have poor people. But they don't sell it in the media. And unfortunately, I told people, I said, physically, we were colonized by the British. I'm talking of West African countries. Mentally, we've been colonized by the US. So our way of living, our habits, our habits are done basis what the US does, not the British. The way we shop, the way we watch TV, the things we like, entertainment sector. You see a lot of our musicians now. What are they talking about? The sagging that everybody is sagging their trousers now. Where did it come from? Is it the UK? Did they sag in UK? They dress like gentlemen in the UK. All the lewdness and all the nonsense that we do. Where did we get it from? All the reality TV show that we now have, the Big Brother show that we now have, where did we get it from? So the people that control the media that we watch is the US. And the US is never going to sell anything anti-US. Have you watched Hollywood movies when they want to show, for example, let's say they want to do a movie that has to do with the military in the US. They show, maybe they say the military wants to go into somewhere in Africa to maybe meet a warlord. The HD resolution of the screen comes down. It becomes brownish in color. Psychologically, it's telling us that it's not a place to go to. Even if you watch, I like to watch a lot of mob movies and drug lord movies, like Pablo Escobar and all those people. If you look at the way they portray Colombia, Mexico, South America, Cuba, the color of the screen is brown. But when maybe the drug lord now wants to expand business into Miami, because Miami is on the border of a lot of this Texas, once you see the screen quality, the first thing you see is skyscrapers, beaches, fast cars. Miami is the place of luxury, of wealth. That's what they are selling. Now, even the Mexicans and the Colombians, America has one of the highest level of Latin people there. Latin Americans want to move over.
So in an age where the barrier to entry into media is so low now.
Yes.
Because you could just pick up a phone as an African and tell a story. What story should people be telling?
Story of African development and the beauty of Africa. The truth is that it's difficult. It's not just on us as citizens. It's also on the government as well. Because it's difficult to say something good or something nice about a country that hasn't really done much to help you. So I see the disconnect. I'm not just going to come and say, Butcher Africa is good. Butcher Africa, there are some people that because of the insecurity and because of the corruption, they've lost family members. They've lost wealth. They've lost a lot of things. How will we tell that kind of person? So it's a joint effort. The government provides the basic needs for society, and the society will tell the story. You treat people well. You don't need to pay them to talk good about you. So it's a joint effort. Government invests in making the countries better. The citizens will do the job. Every average TikToker that travels to France already posts pictures about Paris. Does the government call them and say, when you come to France, make sure you post the Eiffel Tower? No, because they love the place. It's beautiful. Right? People now are coming into Lagos for Dirty December. Why? Because Lagos has made the environment conducive for people to do parties and do all that. But now, when people see war happening in Africa, even our news stations are pushing war, pushing jazz, pushing all these things that are not good. How many news stations in Africa? How many radio shows? How many podcasts? I'm in Ghana right now. I've seen beautiful buildings. I've seen beautiful places. How many stations, how many people show it? How many people in Nigeria show it? Just one or two movies in Nigeria that you will see this and that. But our storylines, yes, we should tell our story so that we can resonate with people that are watching the movies. But the onus is on the people in the media to make Africa look good. So anybody now that is going into a media space, podcast or whatever, at least at some point in time, say something good about the narrative. Because we're fighting a war, and it's a war on narrative. It's a war on narrative. The American government is doing what they would to keep America as the top country in the world, while possibly discrediting others. The African government is also taking that narrative and not doing anything about it. It's not. We spoke the other day, and I said the biggest media station in Africa has just been acquired by France. Which means if they want to, assuming they want to shut it down, there's no DSTV or multi-choice again for us, which is where we even get a lot of our, right? We need to own our stories. We need to own companies that tell our stories better. That's it. And that's the beauty of YouTube. Like you said, the barriers to entry are low. We've democratized creation. So if creation is democratized, why are we still telling stories that are outdated?
Tunde, a young man that just finished university, let's say a 21-year-old that is starting life just after university, he really wants to change his life and build wealth. What will be the exact process he should go through to change his life?
He just left university.
Yes.
The first thing I would say, study the people who have built wealth. That's the first thing I would say. If you are here and you want to get there, the best thing to do is study the people that have gotten there successfully and stayed there. The mindset tip I would give to him is it's a long game. So if you come out of university and you just think you're just going to hit $1 million like that, you're on a long term. So the best thing I would tell someone who's just coming out of university, study the people who have become wealthy. That's what I would say.
Anything else for that 21-year-old?
I think the moment you study the people who have become wealthy, what learning something new does to you, that's why I always advise people to read books. What learning something new does to you, it begins to break away patterns of old thinking. When you read books, you would definitely see something different from how you've been thinking. That's what I'll say. Once I tell people study, I don't need to tell them anything else to do, because when you give people, because everybody wants steps, 5 steps, 6 steps, 7 steps, so they can easily say, I've ticked this one off, I've ticked this one off. But they now begin to do things just to tick steps. They don't begin to do things and soak that particular phase of their journey. So in the process of studying those people, you are extracting knowledge from them and becoming someone who has that knowledge. Wisdom is application of knowledge. Apply it. There are a lot of people that are knowledgeable that are not wealthy. The people that are wealthy are wise. That's the difference.
What changed in your pattern of thinking when you started reading and listening to people who have done it? What actually changed? Where was the bridge formed?
It's quite controversial, right? Because I started reading. I actually hated reading. I was not, out of all my siblings, I never used to pick up books. Most people think I just became a reader, right? And I went to school, a particular school in Nigeria called Covenant University. It's Bishop Oyedepo is one of the largest pastors in Nigeria. He owns a school called Covenant University. And I remember him speaking one day, and he said 2 things. He said, number 1, leaders are readers. Number 2, his most valuable investment is his library. That the amount of money what he has spent the most amount of money in his life is books. And I looked at the person saying this, and I looked at his life, and I looked at what he has been able to achieve. So I'm like, if the person who has achieved all this wealth and all this influence says that this is the amount of money he has spent on this, and that is what I should do, and it can get me here, let me try it. Because when he used to say readers are leaders, I'm like, I beg, that's what everybody is saying, Jared. But let me try one book. And the first book I actually started reading that changed it that was the first ever book that got me into reading, was a book titled Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And that book, it did so many things to my mind that I was like, oh my goodness. And from then, I started picking other books. Then I now looked at it, okay. I started picking up books on business. I started picking up books on wealth building. It started peeling away things that I've been doing. There's a particular book I always advise people to read. It's called The Psychology of Money. When you read that book, you understand that wealth is first about your money patterns than it is about what you do. That book began to show me how I was even thinking about money, which is why a lot of my money was getting lost in circulation and never came back to. That's where the change happened. The moment I picked up that book, I realized everything that was wrong with what I was doing. So I would say leaders are readers.
So it will be beautiful to pick up a book and start reading.
Yep.
You know, there's a question that in recent times, every time I have a conversation, I want to drop this in there. AI and African economy or wealth conversations about the young people. How is it going to influence the way we think about money and how we approach wealth?
Artificial intelligence is here. That's the truth. Because it doesn't really matter how fast we want to develop in Africa, right? Because for a lot of things, we're dependent on the Western world. We don't have a choice about AI. It's coming. It's already here. AI is going to disrupt learning. It has already disrupted learning. It's going to disrupt employment. It's going to disrupt job creation. It's going to democratize wealth creation. And it's going to take a lot of jobs from people. What I would advise every African is to understand AI and learn what it can do. The educational system in Africa is not going to automatically today start doing BSc AI. No, we're not there yet. So it is your job to learn what AI can do and how AI can help you. There was a particular coach I was listening to, and he said this. He said AI is going to, how did he put it? He said AI is not going to replace humans, right? But it will replace the people who don't know how to use AI. Whoa. So your job is not at risk. Your job is just at risk if you don't know how to use AI. So no company is just going to come tomorrow and say, we're scrapping this whole department because AI is going to do the work. The truth is that AI needs prompt engineering. You still need to give the AI prompts to do the work for you and manipulate those prompts to get some sort of data, right? So the people who understand how to use AI are going to, for example, the video editor, the photographer, right? The people who design. I think I wanted to design a logo one time for something, and I had spoken to one guy who did design, and he was telling me that, my creative process, it takes 2 weeks to develop. This is the amount of money. I was like, what is all these 2 weeks to develop? And everything that was inside my mind, I put it inside AI. And it generated logo for me, free of charge. And that's the logo I used. So that ability to use AI has taken a job from somebody because that person did not know how to use AI. If that guy knew how to use AI, he could easily have told me, this is the fee, and you get it in 24 hours. And he would have used AI. He might never have used his creative mind. Video editors now. AI can create a website for you. It's not even up to 24 hours. If you know how to use the right prompts, AI can watch a video for you and give you the summary. In fact, I was doing a particular course one time, and there was so much information to read. I saw articles. I said, what's all this? I just downloaded the articles. I got up to like 6 articles, and I put everything in a particular AI. I said, summarize all these articles for me and tell me what the lecturer is saying. And all the articles were summarized for me in the bullet points, and I got the gist of the matter. He has democratized learning. So AI is here, right? In terms of production of data centers and AI, I don't think Nigeria is here on the creation stage. We are here on the consumption stage. Africa is not ready for, because to be able to produce, be at the manufacturing stage of AI, you need power. You need energy. Do you understand? You need capabilities in terms of people who understand how to build those centers. So we are still at the consumption stage of AI. But even at that stage, there's going to be disruption.
Awesome. Motivation or discipline?
Motivation or
discipline?
I should choose between both of them.
Yeah.
Discipline. Motivation wears off. Instead of motivation, I'll choose transformation. Motivation is good, but it wears off. You're not a self-starter. You're always going to need motivation every time. And self-starters are disciplined. It's discipline.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Actually, the best advice I've ever received was from my father. I remember on the eve of my admission into university, I was speaking to my father and he was telling us a particular story. It's about my siblings. And he was talking about how he was able to get some of the success he had achieved. And he made this statement to me, and I'll never forget it. And I'm going to tell my children and my grandchildren. He said this statement. He said, fetch the sugar first, and the ants will come running after. Which means if you put a cube of sugar here, there are no ants in this room. I can't see any ants. If you put a cube of sugar here, we close the doors, go out and come back in 24 hours, the ants would have gathered. How? And he said it was become a person of value, spiritually, mentally, at work, at school. And what you are looking for will begin to look for you. You will not begin to go and call for it. It will come to you. And that changed my life. So in every aspect of my life, I want to offer value. And the things, even money, is an exchange of value. If you are valuable enough in the marketplace, people pay for your value. Money is not attracted to people, it's attracted to value. Health is attracted to value. That's it.
Tunde, thank you so much for
you.
coming. And to my viewers and my listeners, I hope you've gotten some value out of this amazing conversation. It's taken a whole lot of time. And for me, I've been touched by some of the knowledge and the wisdom that this young man has shared here today. I hope it changes something in your mind. And if you have made it to the end, I always like to know in the comment section. Let me know that you are one of our champions. My name is Derek Abaite. So stay connected. I'll see you next time.